What is going on, everybody? How we doing? Welcome back to the Georgia Meth Show. Today, you guys, we got a lot to talk about. Surprisingly, a lot has happened throughout the week. A couple surprising things happened that left people a bit surprised. A very, very big shocker news happened yesterday that we're going to get into. We'll discuss. We're going to be discussing, giving our topics, our opinions on topics, and we'll go from there. Like I say every time before we start. It is a beautiful day here in Georgia. It's October 24th, 2025, ladies and gentlemen. Um, it is pretty chilly outside for people. It's not that cold to me. I think if you just got like a sweater on, you're chilling. But it's been a bit cold for some people. Um, but it's a great day, beautiful sunny day outside. Let's get started. We got a lot to talk about, a couple things with the baseball world, basketball world. Something very shocker happened yesterday that we're going to get into, and it's going to be a very exciting topic of discussion. Like I say every time before we start, hit that like button, subscribe, comment down below your thoughts and opinions of every topic that we discussed today. Now, let's get started with the positive vibe segment. If you guys are new to the channel and new to the show, every time before I start, I always do a positive motivational quote, I guess to say something that will cheer you up, lift you up, and turn that frown upside down, to say it like that. Here's today's quote: 20 years from now, you will be more disappointed by the things that you didn't do than by the ones you did do. So throw off those bullishness, sail away from the safe harbor, catch the trade winds in your sails, explore, dream, discover. That was from Mark Twain. If I mispronounce his name, my apologies. So, what is he saying in that quote? What did I like about that quote? Was that he was basically saying 20 years from now, you're going to be more disappointed on the things that you didn't get to do than the things you did. So, in terms of, let's say you wanted to go on that vacation in December for Christmas to, let's say, Colorado, and you didn't do it because you chose to do something else. Or let's say because you had to do work or you had to do school or you had to be obligated to do something else. 20 years from now, you're going to look back and be like, damn, bro, why did I not take that vacation? Or a lot of times it's going to be where it's like, dang, I got old so quick that I didn't get to live and enjoy my life because I was so busy working. I was so busy doing this. I was so busy doing that. And I would prioritize work that I forgot, dang, I should have taken more vacations. I should have tried to enjoy my 20s more. Or hell, another example that is very used a lot is, damn, I should have enjoyed my 20s more. And instead, I maybe some people think differently. I ruined it. I had kids early and I was wilding out. Things like that. I love that quote though. Enjoy life as you can. You never know when you're gonna be gone. That's awesome. Love that quote. Let's get started. So, ladies and gentlemen, there was a big news that shocked the world yesterday. It happened in the morning and it left people very surprised. So, the Miami Heat guard, Terry Rozier, was arrested in the morning yesterday on Thursday, October 23rd, of a part of an FBI sports betting gamble probe. And Blazers head coach, Chanson Billups, has been arrested for allegedly illegal gambling, my people. So, of course, as you know, this news broke out and it went crazy. So, we're going to discuss um, what are some details and things that are being discussed, brought up, what's been going on, what is, and go from there. So, this is from someone named Joe Palomino. Man, I suck with names and pronouncing them. But he said the FBI is holding a press conference right now on the details around this morning's sports gambling bust. So this was yesterday. Here are some highlights. Current and former NBA players and coaches Chanson Billups and Terry Rozier and Demond Jones has been arrested. This was illegal gambling and sports rigging operation that spanned across 11 states in total. 30 individuals have been arrested, 13 mafia members. What in the blue world? The case involves La Casa Noresta, the Indian mafia. Charges include illegal gambling, wiring fraud, and exportation. They are two separate indictments. The first involves the six defendants accused of participating in a sports corruption scheme that exploded insider information involved NBA players and teams. The defendants leveraged their connections to place prop bets based on confident insider information, winning tens of thousands of dollars per bet. Um, so the FBI says that the NBA player Terry Rozier, who I believe is the guard for was or is the guard for Miami Heat, uh told the defendants that he was going to leave the game early on March 23rd, 2023 with an injury. The defendant then placed more than $200,000 of wagers on the unders of for his prop bets. With Roser leaving the game after 9 minutes, those bets paid off ten thousands of dollars in profits. And defendant Rosens counted the money at his house. So what was that one with the NBA player Terry the guard for the Miami Heat? Basically, on March 23rd, 2023, when they were playing a game, he basically placed a bet where he was going to score, let's say, he was going to score less than 25 points. And what he chose to do was basically fake it that he had an injury, and he placed a lot of money on that bet, so he was going to hit it because, of that bet that he made. So it that obviously that's horrible. The FBI says the former Raptors player, John Tay Porter, was threatened to participate in the sports gambling scheme because of his gambling debts. Teams that teams that were bet on during the sports gambling scheme included the Hornets, Blazers, Lakers, and Toronto Raptors. You guys, the rigged poker games occurred in Hamptons, Miami, Las Vegas, and Manhattan. So obviously, as you guys see, this is a huge, huge, huge situation that's going to unfold now in the NBA, because this is going to be something major, major. Um, it's just, how can I tell y'all? This is just, this gambling stuff throughout the sports has been insane. Obviously, we've seen a couple with baseball, Shohei Ohtani. We saw with Emmanuel Clase, Luis Ortiz. It's been a roller coaster with this gambling situation. We have obviously a lot of people that are making poor decisions because here's the thing for people that may be like, but what the heck is the issue or this and that, and oh my god, guys, it's unfair. It's not something that you do basically because here's the problem. When you have folks that are in the league gambling, that doesn't make it a fair trade. It's supposed to, when you bet something, it's supposed to be a fair 50-50. But it's not fair because obviously, if let's say, for example, and I'm just using him as an example, let's say KD was playing against OKC and he betted on himself that he was going to score 30 points. Obviously, he's going to do his best to score more than 30 points. And he's probably going to, understand the stats and what they're basically looking into for players and how they're going to play defense against certain players, what are they going to do, who are they going to guard. They know more inside information than obviously the outsiders, so it's not a fair thing. And then this situation is huge because you got more than 30 people that are involved in this situation of gambling across 11 states. And, if they got the FBI in this, it's serious. That this is something huge. And obviously, names like LeBron have been brought up. That would not be a good look for him if this happens. But it's going to be interesting because this is going to be a whole situation now that the NBA is going to have to look into. And who knows, the more people they come out with who participated in it, that they're going to be like, oh, point guard from the Toronto Raptors arrested because involvement of the gambling's bust. It's going to be insane. This is going to be the highlight for a little while for the NBA, and I know they're going to hate that because obviously they want to, you know, shine in a different way, but this is not going to be good. I know for sure this is not the way they want to be shining. Um, Listen. Bet responsibly and bet fair. Obviously that's not good if you know what's you're gonna happen, all that. It's not good. We obviously know that. And it's just it's dirty, man, because they faked injuries to cash out that money. That's the crazy part. Because with one that I said with the guard with Terry, he faked his injury on March 23rd, 2023. So he got that cash out. Like that's OD insane to me. That's crazy, crazy. How can you do something like that? Like, wow. Um, and the teams that are in it, think about it. You got the Lakers, the Raptors, the Trailblazers, and the Hornets. That is not a good look for the Lakers at all, especially with their status and how teams look at them. That is not a good look. I'm just gonna keep it like that. Good luck to everybody. That's all I will say is good luck. Wish nothing but the best for every person that's involved in that. Switching on to a different topic, my people. We're gonna talk about the Phillies and the Bryce Harper situation. So this is something that I've been meaning to talk about because obviously people went crazy after um, Dave Dombrowski went crazy, or not crazy, but he basically made a comment. And obviously, people wanting to get clicks and all that took it the wrong way. People basically thought that, or were trying to pose that he was saying that Harper is not an elite player anymore, that he had a down year, that he's just declining, all this stuff. Which half of it, don't get me wrong, is true. Half now, uh, so a lot of people got to speculating, damn, are the Phillies gonna move from are they gonna trade Bryce Harper? This is probably gonna get Bryce Harper upset. Who would they trade him to? Would the Yankees be interested? They need a first baseman, etc. Um, so let's start off with the Bryce Harper situation. So obviously Dave came out on a I believe podcast with John Middleton, and he basically told him like, listen, Bryce Harper is not going to be traded. He is going to be a Philly forever, basically. People need to, calm themselves down. He says that Bryce Harper is an elite talent and that his comment weren't meant to be criticism. He was like, I've been reading that the Phillies may trade Bryce Harper. That couldn't be further from the truth. So listen, I don't think he's going to go anywhere. Obviously, people need to calm down. Harper is the leader of that clubhouse. He's the top guy there. It's silly if the Phillies trade him. Now, obviously, the Phillies got a lot of work to do that we're going to get into. Um, but listen, we got to also understand age is a thing. Age is a thing. Harper's been hurt a while. Think about it. He had Tommy John on his elbow not too long ago. It's not easy. It is not easy. We got to also understand that it's like, he's getting older. Like, I get it. He has an expectation since he came into the league, but we got to also understand that he is an older gentleman now. Like, it's not like Bryce Harper is no longer 29, 26, 27 like a Juan Soto. He's 33 years old. So he's going to get hurt. That contract obviously is going to be dreadful for the Phillies, just like how maybe it's been for the Yankees with Giancarlo. Um, but it's the sad truth, that's just the way the league is. Now, think about it. He didn't have too bad of a season. He had an OPS plus of 129 with an OPS of 844, slugging 487, on base percentage of 357 with 27 home runs, 75 RBIs, and then a 261 batting average. Had a WAR of 3.2. So it wasn't like he did horrible. It's just not Bryce Harper numbers that everybody's used to. But sometimes we have to understand that we got to live in reality. He is an older gentleman, he's getting older. He's been through injuries. Injuries are going to wear him out, wear his body out. It's not going to be the same. So we got to understand that, he's still a two-time MVP, eight-time All-Star, rookie of the year, four-time Silver Slugger. We got to calm down. I think people they got too excited and they took it out of hand. They were like, oh shoot, there were many people like the Yankees should be the first to attack Harper because they try to get him in or I think they squandered the first opportunity they had in free agency. And now if the Phillies get him, should they entertain? Like, guys, come on. Everybody calm down. You know? That would obviously break the news because we already got Turk or Turk Skabal, Tarek Skabal from Detroit that has everybody going insane. So that's gonna be fun to see what happens. But listen, I don't think he's gonna go anywhere. Obviously, like I said, obviously he had a down year. It wasn't Bryce Harper numbers, but he's still top 10 player in the sport, 100%, or top 30. I mean, definitely top 30. He's still doing good. Does what he has to do. It's just he's getting older. People need to calm down. He's not gonna get traded. Now with the Phillies do have some work to do, you guys. They have a lot of players that are about to be free agents. Somebody who they probably want to bring back, but they also have to really sit down and take a look at everything because if not, it's probably going to be what's it called? It's something that they really got to sit down and think about. Is going to be JT Ramuto, you guys, because he is a catcher. Now, don't get me wrong, he's still one of the top probably 10 catchers in the league. He has reached the end of his contract, so he will be entering free agency. This is somebody that they probably really got to sit down and think about. He's 34 years old. He's getting older. He's playing a position that definitely, wears you out. So, what type of cachet are you going to give him? That's the question they got to really sit down and think about is what type of cachet you're going to give him. Now, his season was all right. It wasn't too good. He had an OPS plus of 91, OPS of 700, slugging 384 with an on base percentage of 315. He had 12 home runs, 52 RBIs, and a 257 batting average with a 2.6 WAR. So his command on the field is still one of the top 5 catchers in the league. But the question is what kind of contract are you willing to give him? You know, I would say if you do more than 3, you're pushing it. Even 2 is good enough. Just because, guys, he's getting older. He's gonna eventually wear out. Eventually, he's gonna be one of those that are probably gonna end up being a 70-80% chance strikeout rate player where he's gonna strike out. He's just getting older. Obviously, there's probably younger catchers that are coming up that they can use. Um, or maybe trade for, maybe go out and discuss. But that's going to be fun. Also, one of their big hitters, Cal Schwarber, is also on an expiring deal, which the Phillies obviously have prioritized interest on bringing him back. But there's probably going to be many teams out there that are going to want a lefty bat who hits 50 plus home runs, 100 plus RBIs every season and does good, So that's going to be competition for them. Also, a pitcher, Ranger Suarez, lefty. One of their key pitching pieces is likely to test free agency. Now, don't get me wrong. They got, Jesus Luzardo, Christopher Sanchez, Zach Wheeler, and Aaron Nola. So they got pretty they got 2 good lefties and Christopher and Jesus. It's just going to be interesting if they want to bring back Ranger. He hasn't been too bad. Um, We'll see what they do. Also, their outfielder Max Kepler, who's obviously on board of reaching free agent status. Um, with him, they'll probably bring him back on like a 1 year, 2 year contract, not too much. I don't see them doing anything. I know they're definitely looking to release Nick Castellanos, so he'll probably get more playing time. Um, they also got Jordan Romano, who they will probably let go. I don't feel like he was that good for them at all. David Robertson, they'll probably bring back veteran bullpen arm, has experience. I think that would be good. Walker Bueller, part of the 40-man roster, is entering the free agency market. Who was, I believe, let go, DFA'd by Boston, and then they picked him up. I believe it was. So listen, the Phillies got a lot of work to do. I think their key thing is just they need to shake up that offense in terms of they have a good pitching staff. I think they got to work on that bullpen a little bit. I love that they went out and got um I forgot his name, Jordan Durang from the Twins. He's a great closer. Love that they did that. But the problem is that hey, when it comes time to shine, their bats are never to be alive. That's what's the problem. They are never to be alive. You had many people that were struggling, and it's been very consistent. It's been very consistent. You guys have had many opportunities, and at the end of the day, wet the bed. So pitching staff looks lovely. We'll see how Zach Wheeler returns if he declines a little bit with that surgery that he has. Obviously, Christopher looks very promising. Jesus looks like he did well as long as he stays healthy. Um, I could see them probably bringing back Walker Bueller over Ranger just to have him as like the number 4 or 5. Probably 5 after Zach Wheeler comes back, maybe 4. Between him and Jesus, most likely. But I would say just they need to focus more on just shaking up the offense a little bit. I'd say let go of Nick Castellanos, probably bring back Kyle Schwarber. Even though you got to really see what type of contract you're going to want to give him, and focus on just getting people that are going to hit, that are going to get on base no matter what, because that's obviously what's lacking. And the thing is that they have a lot of big contracts too, a lot of players with big contracts. That's the issue. um but I would say do that. Focus on the offense, shake it up a little bit. They'll probably bring back JT. We'll see what happens. Um, but it's going to be interesting this offseason. Both a lot of teams have a lot of work to do down in the league, because many players are becoming free agents now, and they got a lot of things to do. Now switching over a little bit, continuing on with baseball, you guys, we got something that I caught caught me by surprise, I want to say. Um, and I was like, oh shoot, that would be interesting, low key. And that is that and this was just reported. It may not be accurate, maybe just somebody wanting to get clicks. But the Yankees and Hal Steinbrenner like Pete Alonso, according to John Heyman. The Yankees have been linked to Alonso as a possible target in free agency. Multiple sources say within the Yankees front office do like Alonso. One reason, obviously, the Yankees need a first baseman and they need a big bat situation is considered somewhat open. And Alonso offers a slugger upside. The fit also is Alonso's a right-handed power bat, which might align with the Yankees' desire to add impact bats. Also worthy noting, one article mentions Yankees owner Hal has a Gators connection with Alonso. Both went to University of Florida and does like him. So I found it interesting because obviously even like last year, it was a little bit thrown out. I remember Michael K mentioning it, where the Yankees would possibly be interested in Pete Alonso, um, and maybe taking a look, giving him a call. So we're gonna go over the pros and cons, but I'm gonna first give my opinion, my thoughts. So obviously, that would be a great fit. I think Alonso would rake in Yankee Stadium. Obviously, you put him with Giancarlo and Judge. It would be a nasty three back to back. That would be horrible as a pitcher you'd have to face. That's for sure. Him with Judge would be insane of a pair. The thing is like, do you want to get back into that rhythm of having a heavy right dominant lineup? Because that was one of the issues down the road or a couple years ago with the Yankees, where they were just heavily dominated on the right side, and they had to make some adjustments and try to get some lefty hitters. Um, like I said, obviously they need a right-handed bat. Alonso would be a good fit. It would be just the ultimate question of, are the Yankees willing to give him the 7 years that he wants? Now the pros and cons. Let's start off with the, I guess, cons for the Yankees would be the cost. Alonso's power also comes with a high price. Obviously, he wants 7 years. He wants a lot of money. The scare that the Mets and certainly will be a big number of for any team. So they're worried that the Mets, will offer him a big money and it'll be a competition. Obviously also his age and risk. Alonso's approaching his 30s, and hitters who are game heavy rely on power sometimes and it declines. The question is it a suitor for long time value or versus risk? The defense and fit, while his offense is outstanding, there are questions at his defense at first base. Does the team prioritize offense over defense, or do they want a mix of both, which was like something that Paul would offer, even though his offense declined a little bit because he's older. Um, the Yankees' priorities, obviously, they may weigh how Alonso fits with their roster, how many years do they want to commit, and whether they would allocate resources elsewhere. So would they go maybe get like a Josh Naylor, or maybe go out and bring back Paul, or maybe go out and get the Japanese player? Um, Listen, at the end of the day, we'll see what happens. many players are obviously or many teams are interested in probably Alonso, power bat, good first baseman. We'll see. Um, I don't I don't know. I'm listen, as a Mets fan, I'm low key willing to let go of Alonso. If we're willing to make a move and go get something else and shake it up a little bit. If we bring him back, that's fine. If we don't, I don't really, make it too biggie. Should we? I would lean towards the yes side more than the no. But, you know, Pete, good player, good heart, but we'll see. That 7 years for him is just a bit risky, especially for a first baseman. Now, continuing on, we got continuing on a little bit with baseball, you guys. So we have the Emmanuel, or we so if I could speak actually. So as you guys know, we spoke a little bit about the situation with this betting and all that. How the NBA got it. We're gonna talk about the baseball one that happened a couple months ago, you guys. So Emmanuel Clase and Luis Ortiz from the Cleveland Guardians were barred from playing in the Dominican League. They are, I believe, I'll tell you guys in just a second. Um, so they have been barred by the Dominican League and MLB from playing in any winter leagues amid to their gambling investigation. So they're still being investigated by the league. They're also suing the Dominican League, arguing that their banishment is a violation of the Dominican Constitution. So obviously that's a mess. So just to give a backstory, so Luis Ortiz was placed on the non-disciplinary paid leave by Major League Baseball on July 3rd, 2025, while the league investigates his allegedly gambling activity tied to unusual bets on individuals' pitches that he threw. Manuel Clase was similar leave later after that, a couple weeks later, July 28th, under the same border of investigations. Both players will remain on leave until further notice as of late August and October. The Dominican Wigger League has banned both from participating in the 2025-2026 Winter League. Guardians separated Block Clase from participating in the Venezuela Winter League, citing lack of permission when he remains of leave. The leaves are non-disciplinary for now, meaning MLB has not officially charged them or suspended them. So here's what it is, you guys. They want to keep playing the sport, but they're not allowed to because they're being investigated for their gambling situation that they had. So what was going on? Basically, they were making bets that, let's say, a lot of them like on underdog, if you do a bet where, oh, so and so is going to throw more than 99 miles per hour, or so and so is going to throw this amount of balls. They did, they bet that, and then obviously they did what they betted. So if they betted that they were going to throw 4 balls, they threw 4 balls. If they betted they're going to throw 100, they tried their best to throw 100. So obviously it's the same thing like I said earlier. That's not acceptable. That's not fair. You shouldn't be doing that. That's not, that's against the rules. I just like I get it can be addicting 100%. It's addicting with no question. But I'm trying to figure out. I'm asking myself, why are they doing that? You have an opportunity to make so much money. If you know you're going to get yourself in trouble doing it, why are you continuously doing that stupid shit? If you've seen in the past that there's players that get in trouble, get suspended, get banned, don't even get placed in the Hall of Fame because of it, why are you going to do it? Look at a great player like Pete Rose, who was barred from baseball for gambling on his team and himself as an individual. What do you think makes you different than him? And Emmanuel Clase, don't get me wrong, great closer. But they were probably going to need him in the World Baseball Classic, and he probably won't be able to play. Luis Ortiz would have probably been a good pitching depth to have, at least for the bullpen. But they want to be idiots and sport bet. Why are we betting? You have such a big opportunity to make so much money, especially like a player like Emmanuel Clase, who's an elite closer. The problem is he's on a team that doesn't pay. But he would go into the free agency market and he would make a bag because he's that good of a closer. But he wants to be dumb and do bets. Why are we betting on the games when you guys have opportunity to make so much money? and you know it's against the rules. You're not supposed to do that. I don't understand it. These basketball players too, y'all have such a big opportunity to make so much money and you guys want to gamble. What are you doing? Like there's a reason why there's rules and it's placed because it's not fair. You guys have information, you have stats and questions and answers that the outsiders, the normal human being doesn't have. You're going to know who they're going to play defense on. You're going to know who they're going to attack, who they're going to try their best to strike out. You're going to know who they're going to try to guard to not score. The outsider doesn't know that. That's why it's not fair. That's why it's a rule. But people want to be idiots and keep betting and betting. And if you understand you're in an investigation that you know you're not allowed to play baseball, why are you trying to go to other leagues and play? Sit at home, calm down, get this situated, then go back out and do what you got to do. Clase is just ruining his reputation and ruining his money because that's what he's doing. He's ruining his money. If they were just some like probably so-so players, they would have probably been released already because the Guardians wouldn't want their names associated with that. But he's a great closer, so obviously they wouldn't want to let him go just like that because obviously there's a contract, and then any other team would pick him up in a heartbeat after this investigation if he comes out good. But folks don't want to listen to directions. They don't want to listen to it. Now, I will say, don't get me wrong, this betting stuff is very popular. ESPN is a part of it. They do ESPN bets. They want people to be betting. Underdog, they want people to be betting. Prize picks, they want people to be betting. Because it's an addiction. When you win, you want to keep going and going and going. That's what makes it so dangerous. The normal human being, if they were to get $200,000 off of a bet, they would have a heart attack, you guys. They would feel like they won the lottery. For a normal person that's working a 9 to 5, they would have a heart attack because they really didn't have to do too much work. It's a bet. It's a 50-50 chance. Let's get to the last topic here, you guys. So I wanted to touch on this a little bit. The Bad Bunny and Super Bowl situation, you guys. So Bad Bunny, or the NFL had announced that Bad Bunny was going to be the headliner for the halftime show for the Super Bowl that takes place February 8th, 2026 at Levi Stadium, the stadium where the 49ers play. Um, Bad Bunny, obviously the first solo male Latino American artist to headline the Super Bowl halftime show. His performance is expected to be primarily in Spanish. Cultural milestone. Obviously, this is going to get people from all over the world. So, what's been the situation? What are the critics? What are people complaining about and bitching and moaning about? So, some critics, particularly from the conservative or politician corners, have taken issue with the selection. For example, Mr. President Donald Trump said that he's never heard Bad Bunny and called the choice absolutely ridiculous. And conservative organized called turning. Point US reported the USA reportedly said they'd host counter programming during the Super Bowl halftime show in protest of the selection. Some so basically people are complaining. Let's I'm gonna put it like this in short terms. People are complaining because Bad Bunny is mainly a Spanish artist, and people are complaining because they wanted to bring out Taylor Swift. They wanted them to bring out The Weeknd or a John Legend or a Bruno Mars. That's what people wanted. So they're complaining because Bad Bunny doesn't speak English. That this is America. That's what they're basically saying. Guys, we need to grow the hell up in life and stop fucking complaining about bullshit. Because to me, this is ridiculous. We're over here complaining. The president, especially, this is what like drives me nuts. The president, instead of focusing on making this country better and making an improvement for every single person that lives in it, we're over here talking BS about a Super Bowl halftime show that's going to last 30 minutes. Like, that's the level that we drop down to, like, human beings nowadays. It's embarrassing. Like, do we not understand that, yes, this person doesn't speak English heavily. He speaks it, but not that's not his primary language. His primary language is Spanish. Why? Because he's Puerto Rican. But people got to understand that, guys, this is eyeballs from all over the world that's going to be coming to your show. You're getting eyeballs. There's people that don't even know the language that listen to Bad Bunny just because they like the flow, they like the rhythm. And we're already we try to ruin it talking about, oh, the ICE is going to be there, this and that, wanting to bring already immigration and all that BS into it. Guys, this is a sports game. It's a sports game. This isn't like we're having a civil war. It's a sports game. He's just doing the halftime show. Why are we making it such a big deal that it's Bad Bunny? He's probably the biggest artist right now, Spanish wise, in the world. There's probably nobody that comes to him. Every stadium that he goes out to will sell out in a heartbeat. That stadium will probably sell out a lot because of his show that night. But we have folks complaining and moaning about, oh, he doesn't speak English. Why do we have a Spanish guy going to speak to do the show? What matters? What matters? We're in 2025. You have translators. You have things that you can just use to translate if you want to know so bad what he's saying. It drives me nuts that this is the type of world that we're living in. We got a president that instead of focusing on making the country better, is talking BS about a damn Super Bowl game. A game, it's only one game in a segment that's 30 minutes. This is ridiculous. And folks got to be more respectful, man. Okay, that he doesn't know English. He wasn't that he was in Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico is a Spanish country or a Spanish state, whatever you want to call it. Pardon me if I don't know what it is. We got to understand there's different cultures, there's different things. There's other people that come here from different countries that don't obviously know the language. We have to calm the hell down and grow up. There's so many opportunities to help out each other out instead of bashing one another because, oh, they don't know the freaking language. I say that because I saw somebody in a podcast. I forget what dude it was. He was upset that, oh, because he doesn't know English, why are we having him do it? What matters? What matters? That's the thing. We complain about bullshit in life. That's the problem with people in society now. We do too much complaining about bullshit, little things, instead of focusing on the big things. That's all I'm gonna say. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Um, as always, like I say every single time, stay blessed, stay humble, stay positive. I'll see you guys later.